Whenever you look up Java in Paris, I don't know if you know this, there's so many Java locations.
Is it?
Yeah. Like I had to make sure what was the address for this. And we're going to something we normally wouldn't go to. We're going to see one of Will's friends. Actually, one of the friends that was just on his last radio show with Aja.
Near from.
But near from. And the description is housey, minimal
music, yeah.
house, something else.
Yeah.
I'm not really a house girl. Like, I like it. I'm happy with it. But it makes me want to sit down. So I'm just going in because it's free before midnight. So just hopping over, seeing Will's friend. Probably going to sit down. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, excited to see this place because I know Will was saying that he was thinking about having a party here
Yeah.
with some of his friends.
It's one of the oldest clubs in Paris.
I feel like you can say that about a lot of things in Paris.
No, this one is old. You'd see.
Okay.
It's like old school, like from the 50s something, and 60s, I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, I want to scope it out too because if we have a party that's earlier in the evening, then maybe we can start it off with some static dance, yoga, stretching type of thing before going into a dance party. Like a full-on like club night, you know? Welcome back to my series where I take you to different party spots in Paris. This weekend we went to La Java and they have lots of different types of events. So we went for a house event, but just 2 days before they had one that was more like Afro beats or something like that. And I've seen all kinds of different music going on. So I can't say that it's like a space that has a certain type of event or certain type of crowd, but I will tell you about my experience when I went. And the first thing that I thought was so interesting was that on Shotgun, which is the app that I like to use to find parties or at least get tickets for parties in Paris, they had it so that if you book a ticket to come before midnight, then it's free. And I booked it a few days in advance because I knew we were going to go. But then that same night, Will was just checking to see like what was going on with the tickets in case we didn't make it in time. And they didn't have any more before midnight tickets. So if you are going to go, I would look ahead of time to see if they have free before midnight tickets. Then when we get there right at midnight. Perfect timing, right? There's a line. The place isn't even open yet. We're just standing outside, smoking, drinking, just waiting with the people. Then at 15 minutes after midnight, they like start letting people in. We go inside. And I remember these girls, well, it was a woman and a man that came up to us, like, just, having a good night. And they're like, "Ooh, what are y'all in line for? Should we come in line with you?" And they ended up joining us in line, but they didn't have any tickets. They were like, "How much does it cost?" And I was like, "Oh, it's only 13 euros. So they're like, "Okay, 13 euros, that's not bad. Not a bad price." And so then when we get up to the line, like with the guy checking to see, like, "Oh, do you have tickets?" He tells the people in front of us 18 euros if they don't have a ticket reserved. So I quickly turn behind me and I'm like, "You need to download this app right now and buy your ticket because it is 5 euros more expensive." And I'm saying it very eloquently to you now, but at the time it was me trying to speak French quickly and quietly. And I remember the woman was like, "Oh, do you speak English?" And I was like, "Yes, but I can do this. You need to download this app and save 5 euros right now." And I'm so happy I did. I'm so glad she listened because it was like, why would you pay an extra 5 euros just because you're at the door when you have tickets available online for 13 euros? So yeah, if you want to go here, I would just always book it online and not wait until you get to the door. I've never seen someone charge that much, but I also always book my things before I get there. For search on entry, I loved that they did not care about me at all. And I don't know if this has something to do with that they only had a man, because what I've noticed in Paris is that only women are allowed to search women and men are searching men. But if it's a place that only has a man doing the search, then they can look inside your bag. But I don't have a bag because I was wearing my favorite mini skirt. It's absolutely amazing. You don't need any sort of bag when you have it. Yeah, so they didn't search me, but they did search Will. I don't know if I would call it heavily, but they definitely searched him. Then when we get inside, we immediately go to coat check, and I kind of beat myself up about this, even though I know I'm not supposed to beat myself up for doing things with the best information that I had at the time, but it's also why I make these videos, because there was no need for me to go to coat check. I could have just threw my coat in a corner. But anyways, we go through coat check. It's €3 per person, and you have to pay cash unless you're spending €10, which is like, who's spending €10 at coat check to be able to use a card? So we only had €5 because normally it's like €2. And I feel like I'm being a bit dramatic over a €1 difference, but now that I've been in Paris for a while, I compare everything to how many croissants or baguettes could I buy with this money. So €3, it just felt too high. But I'm glad I asked the people behind us, like, if we could join in on theirs, because we just gave them €5 and they paid with card to go with the rest of their groups, so it worked out fine. So since we went at the beginning of the night, I feel like we went at the perfect time. There was so much space to dance. Everyone who was there is like, they really wanted to be out dancing. They weren't involved with like trying to get drunk and then just going somewhere for the night. Like, these people were here to have a good time, and those are the people I like to be out with. And I remember when I was on the dance floor, just like da da da, Will was talking to me, and he was like, "Oh, do you notice that sound?" I guess because he's a DJ and he does like a lot of things involved with sound engineering, and I think his ears have a better, I don't know the right word for it, but maybe his ears are better than mine for hearing certain things. And he was like, "Oh, do you notice that thing whenever this thing does this?" I can't remember exactly what it was because it was very nerdy. And I was just like, "No, I don't hear that at all." And then he was like, "I think there's a limiter limiting how loud it can go." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." So then I look over at the sign on the wall that measures the volume in the room and like how many decibels and everything it is. And anytime it gets like 100, it starts to like shoot back down. So they're controlling how loud it is there. And that's what he was hearing. I didn't hear it, but that's definitely happening. And I feel like that plays into the sound quality of a space. I think it was fine. Honestly, I didn't wear any earplugs because it wasn't that loud, and it probably seems like it was that loud because it's 100 decibels, but at the time it didn't feel loud at all. It felt like a comfortable like hearing level. Like if I was there for until 7 a.m. like was on the schedule, I think I would have regretted not wearing earplugs, but just for like a few hours it was fine. The lights were fine. They were just kind of just flashing around a little bit, which I guess is what they're always doing, right? They're just flashing around a little bit. I mean, it was fine. It was exactly what I would expect for house music. And they had other lights attached to the ceilings that weren't on. And I don't know if they have those on regularly or what, and they just chose not to put them on or what the system was. But I was like, they're fine. Like, I'm a big sucker for intense flashing lights, not white, but like intense flashing lights to where it's its own show and there's things going on the walls and stuff like that. Like, I love it. This was just like, they just threw some red and blue around and called it a day. I do remember another time where I was on the dance floor and I looked over to the bathrooms in the corner and I couldn't tell if it was security or just guys in black coats. And they were watching inside and I'm like, what is going on over there? And so Will goes over to check it out, also because he had to pee. And he was just like, oh, I think they were there because someone was painting. Because there are some places that I will go to in Paris where the security will literally watch inside the bathroom to make sure no one's going in together. So just to make sure people aren't taking anything. So it's hard to say if that's what they were doing. But then after that, as it was going deeper into the night, because we left by like 2:30, but as it was going deeper into the night, I would see security walking around the dance floor with flashlights, like searching. And I'm like, this is so intense, especially because the room is not that big. Like from one side to the other, you can if there was no music playing, you could comfortably have a conversation without yelling. So it just seemed a bit intense for me for a man to be walking around with a flashlight, because it was like, it wasn't that often, but just the presence of it killed the mood, you know, because it's like, you're not effectively stopping anything, but you're acting like you are. The toilets are fine. I only went to just get some more water and put a sticker up. It's a lot better than some places. You know, the only thing that kind of gets me, which is like, it probably shouldn't get me because I understand how men pee, but whenever I see a urinal, it just makes everything seem instantly more dirty. Because they don't have it roped off. You have to walk by the men's urinal area to go to the toilet. Which is like, that's not a big deal. It's just an observation and a way for you to get to know me better and what I think about urinals. And it reminds me, actually, I used my first female urinal in a festival on this island on the west of France a while ago. We were going to see our friends perform. And I remember thinking, like, this is strange, but I was so excited about it. I was like, ooh, it's my turn now. And it was just pissing in the hole. So the beer here was €9. And you're probably wondering by this point, if you watch the other videos, why I'm always referencing the beer as the bar prices. It's because I don't drink when I go out. And Will drinks, but he only drinks beer. So that's the only price that I have unless I take a picture of the menu. But oftentimes, like, I feel like that's a good benchmark to tell what the prices of the place are going to be based off of beer. So like here it was €9, Phantom was €13. If you go somewhere and they have a beer for €6, you just know everything there is going to be cheap. The only two things I feel like I haven't talked about yet are the smoking area, which was outside, which was really nice because you know I do not like the cancer rooms trapped with no ventilation while people are smoking. And it wasn't even that cold. So even though I checked my coat, it wasn't that cold, but also maybe I'm just getting used to it. Because I'm pretty sure it was cold. I just like didn't realize it from the heat, from the dancing and everything. And the crowd, everyone was so nice. Like I told you, we met the two people in line, super nice. And then I met this Italian guy, and I was so impressed by him because he was a translator for me at some point in a conversation with French people. So he speaks English, French, Italian, and he speaks Portuguese because his girlfriend is Portuguese. And I was just like, damn. And here I am just struggling to get the French out. Very impressed by that. And I was also shocked by the conversation that we were having because you know me as an American coming in, just catching up on the European drama and stuff. I was not expecting what they were talking about. And I love writing my favorite memories and stories from the dance floor in my Substack. So you can go read about it on my Substack. And also about what the French girl told me because I was not... She kept saying it like it was going to happen. I was like, this is not going to happen. So you should go read about my conversations that I was having with these people. But yeah, I met so many kind people, so many people whenever they would come and talk to me, because everyone thinks I'm French. They'd come in to talk to me, and then whenever I would respond in French and I would catch what they were saying and do my best, they would always be like, where are you from? Because I do not sound French. Then around like 2:30, I was getting really tired. And I was just like, there's no need for me to stay until 5 a.m. to watch your friend play. So let's just go home. Like, I'm not losing sleep over house music. I have things that I want to do tomorrow, which is always a big thing about going out in Paris because the parties don't start until midnight. So if you start at midnight, you really have to think about what you want to accomplish the next day and if it's worth sacrificing your sleep. As we were getting ready to go, we ended up staying an extra, 20 minutes or so because we tried to leave at the wrong time. We tried to leave at the time when all the people in Paris who were out somewhere else talking and drinking caught the last metro so that they could come to the bar, which is like, 1:30. So they arrived around like 2:15, 2:30. And instantly from there, everything got way more annoying. There was less space. There were people... who were continuing to have their conversations because I've told you multiple times that people love to have conversations on the dance floor here. So it was like all of a sudden the music, all you could hear was talking. Instead of music with a little bit of talking, it was like a lot of talking with music in the background. And I was like, I gotta go. I can't do this. I also saw a few people that looked a bit lost. And I don't know if they were drunk or high or what. They were gone. And I also wonder if it was 18 and up. because I didn't look at all of these things. It was just like, oh, your friend's playing, let's go support, which is fine. But just as a 30-year-old, it makes me feel like a mother sometimes. And I don't know why I feel like a mother. I should just feel older. But I do feel like I have like a bit of, not responsibility, but just like care for how the other people are going to be enjoying their night. And I guess that's the reason why I feel so compelled to write my Party Responsibly books, where it talks about how to take things for a night out, but not as a way to escape, but as a way to really just be more present with how you're feeling in your body, and also how to feel comfortable being sober, all kinds of things. So in the end, I mean, it was a great spot. I would definitely book a ticket online before going. And if you haven't already, catch up on the other places that we've gone. Subscribe so you can see the new places that I'll be going. I'm going to Morocco. Maybe I'll have been to Morocco in the time that you watch this, but literally as soon as I land back, I'm going to another party at another spot. So I'm having a lot of fun making this series, and I hope you have fun watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.